Hello people, and welcome back to part 52 of Thessia, our Australian-inspired build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're actually just hanging out over by Benizia and Sentinel here at the minute. It's been a while since I've been over this part of the map. And what we're doing today is something a little different actually. So for the last 243 days, subscriber D-Day Rio has been asking that we build a distribution depot for each of the main alcohol manufacturers on the Thessian Islands. So of course, first of all, we have the Thessia vineyards up here, producing premium and quality wines for Thessia and the world beyond. I really love this build. It's a really great perspective here, kind of seeing the farmers up in the hills of the vineyard, just looking out over the beach, and you can see the Thessian Navy over there now as well. This is very cool. So this needs a distribution centre. Of course, it has the vineyard and the winery up at the top, up here where we can also enjoy Mitch and Jerry as they undergo a wine tasting session, which I'm sure must be very beautiful up here, right? So anyway, let's not get too funny because we have some other things to show. Of course, then there is the Valkyrie brewery over in Valkyrie, which is over here. Big brewery vibes here. There's also a tourist tour here as well. We can enter into the fused wine and liquor building. This turned out really nicely. We can do some distribution center for this as well. And then last, but certainly not least, of course, is the Ascension distillery, which is the purveyor of fine rum, I believe, isn't it? Yes, rum and rum for all, as it says on Brothers' billboard that he so kindly made for us. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today, because he's commented every single video for 243 days. So we're finally going to do it for him today. So thank you, D-Day, for constantly requesting it. Today we'll finally do it. And maybe we can refine our design and choices along the way as well. We'll see what happens. But either way, I'm thinking we'll start with the wine distribution center. So the vineyards are over there on the hills. I think it would be pretty unfair to ask the trucks to wave up that snaky road to get there. So why don't we go for the fact that the Benizia vineyard and winery has leased out a bit of land here by the train tracks on the edge of the major industrial estate that serves Ascension. You boys alright? Not enough raw materials, so you're getting a, is that a service point issue, I wonder? It might be. Just have a little check, yep. No, it should be okay. Should be okay. I was waiting for a delivery then, I think. But yes, either way, let's not get distracted. I do enjoy building in old parts of the city, so this should be quite a lot of fun. So distribution centers, they're pretty uniform across the world. You get a big warehouse, fill it with stock, and have lots of spaces for trucks and trailers to load it up and then take it away for other people to enjoy. So there's a lovely little spot here just by the tracks into Benizia. So we'll level this out a little bit. Should be pretty sensible. So none of these sites are going to be absolutely enormous. I think the biggest one is probably going to be Ascension's distillery distribution center, because Ascension is the biggest town of them all. So it makes sense for it to have the largest distribution center, wouldn't it? So, of course, let's use industrial road for these. And we'll come up here. So let's place our road here. I'd also like a little bit of a boundary against the road here, so you can kind of tell you're driving past a distribution center. These things are always kind of super obvious and obnoxious from highways, I think, and sort of major roads when you drive past them. If anyone's ever been down the M40 in the UK, you will notice a ton of distribution centres. So let's go for some warehouses. I think that's the most sensible choice here, isn't it? So I think we'll go with the medium warehouse for Benizia. So let's first of all just analyse the asset, and definitely want it to have its loading bays facing this way over here. We'll worry about connections and whatnot in a second. Let's just get everything aligned for how we want here a sec. Cool, so if I can door this up with Move It, and let's see where there's any possible fusion opportunities. So there's not a vast amount of fusion opportunities with this asset actually, but that's okay, we can still use it. So we'll have it up here. Now let's grab our road so this actually has a connection. That should be okay, and then there's lots of space out here for details in terms of trucks waiting to park and concrete surfaces and whatnot. So we're getting to store something. I mean, what's the... No factory up here, is there? Yeah, it's just crops that are being stored and utilised by the actual industrial area, which would only require a silo, not a warehouse for that, but that's okay. So in terms of that, then I think we'll just store commercial zone goods, which I guess is technically what the wine would be. And we actually have a slither of industrial demand in Thessia for the first time in what feels like forever. We've been waiting for that demand pretty much since episode 4 or 5, haven't we? So it's nice to have a little bit back in. That's definitely because of all the industry we added, residential we added last episode, wasn't it? But I'm thinking what we can also do here, because this is just a bit underwhelming as a single distribution centre, is we could partner it with further warehouses in different configurations, but I think we'll save that for another site. So why don't we instead here, some of the industrial evolution stuff from Avanya has a slight little warehouse vibe about it. There's a few of these assets of varying different levels. So I reckon if we were to just grab, is this the level 2 one? Level 1 still. Yeah, I think that's about all of them, isn't it? Maybe that one as well. Might be quite nice. Yeah, I think we'll do something with these. So let's just move these three out of the way. This one here looks most like the warehouse over there, doesn't it? So let's align this one with the fence of the current distribution platform. Cool. And then we can almost use these as kind of spare storage warehouses. So it's like a mini version of this, isn't it? But just next door. So I think there's a lot we can do with that. And then we'll have this one here. And then those little kind of doors and loading bays on the assets. That's all perfect opportunities for a little bit of truck and prop detailing, which we'll get involved in at some point today as well. I imagine we'll spend a lot of today kind of piecing together the structure, and then we'll move into the old faithful detailing time lapse. So the smokestacks are a little annoying. I'm not sure actually if those smoke icons are props. Ah yes, there is actually factory smoke small, which means with the wonderful world of Robert, if we commission him, he will come in and remove those smokestacks for us, which I'm not precious about. I'd much rather not have the smoke pouring out of the wine distribution centre. I can't imagine smoke is particularly good for the wine storage process. Then again, I bet there is somewhere in the world that does make a smoked wine, isn't there? So I'm probably speaking too soon. Yeah, so I think now driving past some of my major connections, definitely until you got some sort of warehouse facility here. Now to keep on with the branding, I'd also love to grab some of the billboards, because of course we do have the Benizia city flag, which I'd love to include nearby here as well. Why don't we have this on the entrance into the facility, which we'll detail it with fencing and sort of office space and whatnot as a bit of administration. We're surface painting up this whole area. Imagine a lot of it should play pretty fair with surface paint, so we shouldn't need too many concrete brushes down here today, as long as we configure everything correctly. Oh, that's very nearly on the axis as well, the surface paint, isn't it? Yes, please, everyone. That absolutely delicious. And then I'd love the Benizia billboard. I guess really we need. Yeah, I guess really what we need is a Tassoni Vineyards billboard, don't we? But I think for right now, having the stay, play, wine, dine, and 69 billboard facing the highway. I think that's just a little bit of brand exposure, isn't it? Thanks for visiting Benizia. And of course, it does have the wine grapes on there as well, so very much on brand, isn't it? I think for the warehouse. We'll probably have another one of these sat facing the entrance road as well. How would you look at that? As one of the Ascension rum bands drives past. Fantastic. Probably would have been a good idea to get drunk for this episode, wouldn't it? Although it is 10 AM for me, so probably not the best habit in the world to develop, is it? Cool. So we'll have that there. So we'll have this as Benizia's wine distribution centre. We'll come back in the detailing time lapse with crates and props and whatnot and really flesh this out. But as a general structure, that should be okay. One thing we do want to do as well, if you are going to be doing stuff like this, we did cover it last episode, doing that residential. But if you're playing with buildings away from there, kind of fixed road. Make sure you drag their building spawn points back to the road so garbage and death care and whatnot can get to them. Cool. So nice little industrial complex there. Pretty cute, not overbearing, very much like the rest of Benizia is, isn't it? Which I will take the opportunity to revisit some of these towns. Because, you know, once we see them in the episode, we might stop by in the occasional live stream, but, you know, that's not super often, is it? So I will enjoy the trip back to some of the older towns. Maybe time for a Thessia series rewatch, I think. A lot of this feels very alien now. I love this boardwalk too. Forgot we did this, to be honest. Really love Benezia's beach. Very understated, isn't it? But either way, also very cute. So there we go. So next, let's head to the largest one. Let's now go over toward Ascension, over the hills and far away. We'll take the opportunity to drift through the CBD. Which is now all the way through here. And then we can head to Ascension. So Ascension does actually have a little spot right next to the distillery that I think would be perfect for the distribution center, I think. Right here, just near the mall. So of course we've got our mall fused into the station here, so people can get in and out of both buildings. And this little spot here was never really utilized as anything really. So why don't we do the distribution center here for the largest producer of alcohol on the Thessian Isles, which of course is the Ascension Premium Rum Distillery. Big shout out to Bradders again for that billboard. So, let's start here. Let's first of all get rid of the forest here. I imagine we might do a little bit of a key here. Because I think having the trucks pull up, maybe this is a place where like all the truckers love coming to, because they get to park their truck up and wait to be loaded while they enjoy kind of views of Benizia Creek and its skyline. And, you know, just the general sights and sounds of tropical coastal Thessia. So let's go with that. I probably put in too much thought into it, but I think it'll be fun. So let's do a little curve out here, and we'll have our warehouse set about here. Now this is quite the drop from the water level there, isn't it? Which I don't think I mind. We'll sort of see what happens here. And then again, biggest distribution center vibes is going to be the large warehouse, of course. So I'd love to start positioning this. So I think certainly just for general industrial building, a warehouse aligned against a railway is always a very strong aesthetic, isn't it? Yeah. I think if like civil engineer can say that kind of a knob and balls is the strongest shape, we can say that a warehouse against a rail is the strongest industrial shape, or the strongest industrial vibe, maybe. Something quite harmonious about it, isn't there? Anyway, I'm rambling. So I think we'll set the warehouse down to the same height as the rail. Then we can have a little curvy road coming in and out. This one should be pretty simple. I think what we will do is just grab the nodes, because we're going to be doing quite a lot of prop detail in our detail time lapse today. Want to make sure that we've got the smoothest land possible. So let's just give this one a little test. Let's go for trailer. Again, it would be absolutely wonderful if one of our beautiful asset makers would be able to make us some custom trailers that we could put in here. That'd be just wonderful, wouldn't it? So given that this is whiskey, I guess a crate of whiskey would be most appropriate, wouldn't it? So we could use these crates here. That's drywall. Otherwise I think it'd be loaded into like a trailer, wouldn't it, rather than a flatbed. Flatbed seems a bit risky, I think, doesn't it? So let's go with the white trailer props then. So as long as we can have them packed up into their loading bays, and then we can get a truck under them as well, hopefully. We'll use move it to align the two where we want them. That should just be far enough away. And I think every time we place this truck, it does change colour, doesn't it? So usually when you drive past these distribution centres, especially in the middle of the day, they're always pretty full with the bays. So I reckon just with a little bit of prop work like this, we can add quite a bit to the build here. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about, right? Drivers love coming over to Ascension Distribution Center, because they get wonderful views of the mountains. They can get a little walk down by the what's it called? It's creek, if you like. I actually wouldn't mind implementing some walking back and to across here. The roads here are all embanked as well, so I'm not exactly sure what the best way to do that is. We do have one a little bit further down, which is really heavily utilized. I guess we could just do that same process, couldn't we, over here with the tunnel under the road. Probably do that here as well. Yeah, I think we'll do that in our D10 time, then give people a way to walk back and to across here, which will take them back over to this way. And then, of course, we will also have Ascension's flag over here as well, which is the big airport. We'll have this by the entrance. Maybe right by there. And then we'll grab the Ascension Premium Rum sign as well, for which there is a couple of them, actually. We've got All for Rum and Rum for All. Always Smooth, Never Bitter was the jab we had over at Valkyrie Bitter, wasn't it? And then, yeah, I think we'll go for the classic branding one. This is the one to go for, I think, isn't it? So again, we'll have this here at the forefront of the facility, with the fencing and a little Ascension flag. Hopefully we can rotate this so the flag looks like it's facing the road. No, the flag police might be on for that for not blowing the same direction, but winds can change, etc. So that's my excuse to go for it. Cool. So big distribution center here now. This one, the warehouse really details it itself, doesn't it? We could definitely include some more industrial evolution stuff here. I think I'd probably rather include maybe an office building just as a bit of admin and administration sort of place where, you know, papers and whatnot are kept. And I'd rather have this be a little bit older. Why don't we see if we can grab a bit fancy, isn't it, really? There has to be an asset somewhere here that would work for what I want. Yeah, this one here is a little bit of an older building, isn't it? Looks like it could be arranged in a way to make it look like administration at least. So let's bring it just toward the back of the distribution warehouse. And I reckon we can probably double this up, just to make it a bit of a wide boy, if you like. And then let's grab our parking as well. We'll do a little bit of 22-meter poorly maintained. We'll bring this out. Let's do a stretch of service road first. And then we'll do something like that, I think. And then we can have some parking outside here as well for any workers. I'll be able to blend this into the front of the distribution center here. So that should be pretty cool. Although some slight surface painter boundaries might annoy us, but we should be okay for the most part there, I think. Cool. And then we can add that as a bit of office admin. Place where you can drop off papers and whatnot and speak to a distribution manager, or just find out where you're going if indeed you are a truck driver. So we can have that on there. That is wonderful. Of course, we'll come back and detail this later and decide what we're going to do with the water. Maybe a little bit more of an extended concrete yard out here. We'll see what happens. And then the last one, indeed, is over to where the city very first started, which has really come such a long way now, hasn't it? I love being back in Valkyrie. I absolutely love this area of the city. All the original billboards are here. Crocodile Creek, Cricket Club. There's the Valkyrie Cats as well here, isn't there? Very cool. You guys are just so awesome at developing stuff like this. Got our custom bleachers over here as well, of course, which some have collapsed for some reason. A bit sad, isn't it? But this one's okay. Nice little custom bleacher. Very nice indeed. Of course, always an experience to look at Valkyrie train station, isn't it? Which is probably the busiest outside of the CBD. There's a lot of people that come and go from here. So it's very nice. It's very nice. And there's some custom adverts. Oh, I do love Valkyrie. It's nice to be back here. But either way, we need to head to Valkyrie Brewery, which does already actually have a warehouse in it, which kind of acts as a distribution center. So I reckon we might actually rework this here. Is there any kind of spots in Valkyrie that would work as a distribution center, I wonder? In and around the industrial area of the town would probably be the most appropriate. There's also a little spot out here we never ended up utilizing. That again would be against the rail. We'd also just extend it out here, couldn't we? So as you drive in, you do have the little distribution center just to your right. At least then they're cutting down the carbon footprint, aren't they, between transferring the beer back and forth. I think that is what we'll go for then. So let's manscape up this area here. We'll add a little addition into the Valkyrie brewery, and then we'll end up reworking this one. Maybe put some more, of course this is beer, so I guess kind of more silos, and I think that's how beer is made, isn't it? I'm pretty sure beer is in a silo, or a vat, is it? I am not massively familiar with my alcohols, as you can probably tell. So let's have the industrial road come out this way, and then we'll run it parallel over here and see if we can create some really nice orientations by playing with all the really cool networks we've got over this way. So again, always we use the warehouses. We could do a couple of smalls here maybe. So I'd love to try to do some warehouse fusing. I really do like these assets from the Industries DLC. So if we were to blend you two together, how feasible is this? Or maybe we want to do one of the other ones. You want to do a warehouse yard and a small warehouse together? I guess we could. No reason why not. Have this one over here. Now, because of the nature of this warehouse, it does fill up with whatever we tell it to do. So, what is most going to look like beer? I guess we could just tell it to do commercial goods, because of course we do have a factory in the brewery, which is producing factory products at a pretty low rate. We can probably boost this up now as well. So why don't we see what unique factory products looks like stored in here then? I guess we'll find out, won't we? So we'll have that there. Then let's bring this road down here a little, just to provide connection. And again, I do want that space for some truck and general industrial prop detailing to appear. So I think we'll line them up with their fences around the back. That gives us a more cohesive distribution facility, doesn't it? I think it does. I'm almost tempted to go for 2 of those, you know, just to widen it out a little bit more. How about we do, you know, one more does just encroach, but that's fine. I think we can just do something with a bit of a shifted angle. Let's move this road back just until it gains its connection. And then we'll do the same thing here as well with this one. And again, that will maintain its connection. We'll also tell this to store unique factory products. I'm not sure what pastries are going to look like piled up in these. I'm hoping it's just crates that we can pass off as beer, essentially. Cool. And then you can do, I guess anything for the factory might be useful here. What's this warehouse storing? What are we about to lose? That's storing unique factory products. Okay. In that case then, we'll store something for the factory here. So this can be animal products instead. Perfect. And then let's delete that. Yeah, we will lose the stock. That's okay. And then to bring in more VATs, I guess we could just do more generic industry here. Let's do... Let's see, wonder, the bakery. Let me just remind myself of what it wants. It does want crops. Now, we're not storing crops here at all, which is okay, but it does give me an excuse to use them. So we could grab some farming industry, and then we could go for... Let's have a look at the small and the large grain silos, which of course are used to store crops, but I can probably use them from the point of view that they're holding beer and fermenting it. I think the large grain silo is a little bit overkill, to be honest, isn't it? I probably prefer the aesthetic of the smaller one here. I think that's what we'll do. Let's get rid of these. And then, how far can we knock you back before you lose your connection? About there. Let's also spin this as well. And then we'll try and line up the 2 in the middle. And then I guess we can just duplicate them. This way we'll store a ton of crops, and that one isn't massively happy there, is it? So let's not do it all the way down then, because it's not going to be happy with certain nodes, which is okay. But we'll have this here. And we will... Everything's quite concrete heavy around here, isn't it? So we'll probably maintain that vibe. Apart from down here where we did some really nice detailing with the barrels. So let's have this over here. Then probably just another little bit of administration space. If not a tiny warehouse, which does fill the space perfectly actually. So is that a bits and sits moment? Although it can't face that way, we have to face it the other way. This node's too stretched out. And flour and crops. I mean, flour's produced here, isn't it? From crops as well. So I guess we'll just tell it to store flour in that case. That should be okay. So that reworks the tiny distribution center we had into a separate site and facility over here, where there are now trucks leaving, which is good. Okay, so here's our unique... Wait, is this unit factory? No, this is animal products, isn't it? I believe. It is animal products. Where are you guys coming from? Small animal pasture. Where is this? Oh, I love to see that. So the Goodwin cattle station is now feeding the Valkyrie brewery. That is 11 secret herbs and spices. I'm very happy with that. That's really nice. Cool. And then we do already have our brand in here, but we will take another one. Let's do copy and paste on the old sign if I can grab it. There we go. And then let's have this somewhere along the warehouse. How about that? That way it faces the train line, which would give them a lot of brand exposure anyway. You can imagine all the commuters heading into the CBD, all of a sudden developing an intense thirst as they drive past here. But even from the road, you can see it as well, right? You can see it the other side as well from here, actually. But there we go, another distribution center. Finally, for Valkyrie Brewery. And that does leave all 3 distribution centers established and in need of some detailing. I imagine maybe we might do... You know, what else can we make? We've done rum, wine, and beer. I'm not really sure what else there is to brew. Maybe we could do a gin distillery somewhere in the future. Not sure. I'll have to wait and see. But either way, let us go and detail the brand new distribution centers in Benizia, Ascension, and Valkyrie. And then we'll be right back. Okay guys, let's have a little detailed review, shall we, of the 3 new distribution centres that now occupy Thessia, in and around their respective, I guess, distilleries, vineyards, whatever they're called, production facilities. Over here we have surrounded with some tasteful kind of corrugated iron fence with a little bit of barbed wire on it. Looks kind of like really aged. Big fan of this prop, it's a really nice one. Then we'll come into the entrance where we do have a little fence gate here that acts as a gate, of course, to slide shut and keep the facility secure. We come into a little bit of parking where we've also dropped in another office asset just as a bit of admin where you can see people arriving for work, which is nice. And then lots of truck detailing, decals as well to help just kind of scuff up and mark that concrete. You know why we love a decal in CS. Rows of forklifts and props outside of respective warehouses just to make the place look a little bit more alive. And also a fleet of delivery wagons over here as well, plus some prop work that comes with the assets around the back of them. And then we are now starting to see our warehouses fill up with, I guess, what is crates of Benizia wine is filling up here, which is very cool. And you can also see the vineyards from the distribution warehouse as well. So I really like Benezia's, it's nice, tasteful. Fits in really nicely against all the networks here. As you drive into town, you can definitely tell it's some sort of like distribution centre. And yeah, settles in really nicely. Nice little cute industrial facility. So that sits within kind of the shared Sentinel and Benizia sort of industrial yard over here now. A big shout out for this part of the city as well. I really love all the networks here. Really fun building Sentinel and Benizia, kind of the twin towns. It's yeah, nice. Yeah, I like this part of the city. Either way, over the hills and not that far away into Valkyrie, we arrive at the Valkyrie Bitter distribution depot, which is a little smaller than the rest of them. But of course, it is right next door to its brewery, so it doesn't need, I guess, that much volume from what's already available in the brewery. But some nice simple beer barrel work, all stacked on top of each other, of course, using Move It. I copied and pasted those patterns and then just deleted a few of them out, just so it looks like, you know, it's being worked on. Not everything's totally uniform. Our goods have yet to, well, our warehouses have yet to fill up with factory goods, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping maybe the bakery here would have provided us with that, but no dice at the minute. I think they're just being distributed across the rest of Thessia, because I think they're just classed as sort of generic commercial goods, aren't they? So maybe one day, once that production chain catches up with it, we can have some stocks in here, but until then, it would appear that Valkyrie Bitter is so popular they literally cannot keep the warehouses stocked. Except for here, you know, the overflow yards have been drained out, but everyone here, these are now, I guess, boxes of cans of Valkyrie Bitter being stored here, aren't they? In the shadow of the brewery, which is very much a welcome aesthetic, isn't it? That's all through there now. And then we also dropped in some more trailer truck props ready to load those crates of beer onto the trucks with more signage, and this sits really nicely in a little pocket of land here. We've got a bit of traffic around Valkyrie, haven't we? You boys alright? Is everyone okay? Possible node work here to be done. This is all one node though, isn't it? It looks like we've just got some traffic manager work to do there. Let's just wang on a go ahead. You don't need to do that awkward little kind of jump and stutter as they approach the junction. There we go. Seems to be a bit better now, doesn't it? So that's all a lot of fun and games. Really happy with that one. And then we'll go across the river through, I guess, what is Thessia's dry, uninhabited outback to eventually reach another traffic jam, where it looks like we might have to do some more traffic manager work here as well. And I actually don't know why we're over here. I don't know what's going to lie over here. Of course, the airport and a lot of the downtown infrastructure is going to sit over this way, but the other side of the ridge, I don't know what goes here. If anything at all yet, we might just leave it empty. You know, there is a lot of Australia that is just barren and empty between different towns, isn't it? So maybe that's what we do with it. And then last, of course, but not least, is Ascension Distillery, where we arrive here and arrive a bunch of little rock walls that are essentially functioning as a retaining wall. In case there is a landslip or a flood or something, all this rock work can keep everything held up. I've also dropped in some wooden fence props around the side of the facility too. And we've also got a Railroads of Japan office branch in here as well, again, just to serve as that bit of office admin for the facility. And more decals on the concrete as well, just to scuff it and mark it a little bit with some parking. And then also rearranged one of the trucks here to look like he is actually pulling away from having been loaded, and then it's ready to distribute the liquid gold of Ascension rum around to the world, with more truck prop detailing around here. And the same overgrowth and fence work continues around the back of the facility as well, which really marks off the edge of that train line, I think. And then around the front we have our general office fusing with some light car part work, and the old classic Ascension premium rum sign there too. And we also had a bit more space outside the train station, so I thought some parking or extra parking could have been justified, because it's very busy around here. This car park seems a little bit small. But we'll always enjoy watching people come and go from the mall as well. From the train station. Definitely one of my favourite fusings we've ever done, this one. It's very tasteful. But big fan of it either way. So that does finally leave all of the distribution depots after 243 days of D-Day asking. So if you have enjoyed today's episode, you do indeed owe D-Day a thank you down below. And thank you for the suggestion, mate. It was really fun piecing together kind of 3 satellite distribution facilities that are functioning as industry for the city, but also a little bit of lore and purpose for them as well from the distribution centre point of view. If you have enjoyed today's episode, likes, comments and shares below always go a long way to helping grow the channel. And a massive shout out to all the patrons that do help support the work we do here. If you're interested in getting involved in that, there are links down below to Patreon, where there's podcasts, previews, and early access when possible. Plus there's the instant gaming link as well, which helps support the channel, and you can get yourself some fantastically cheap games that does help support the channel. But I'll shut up and leave it there. Please do enjoy today's cinematics, but I'd like to thank you all so much again for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.